This is recording 818-818. The name of this recording, you can Google it, Listen Next -818. You have to put spaces around the dashes, put it in quotes, put Speaking to the CIA podcast. It'll pull right up in Google. You can just type in Listen Next on Twitter, hashtag Listen Next, or just type in Listen Next. It's gonna pull up. So you don't have to do hashtag, you can just put in quotes. Anyway, I'm sorry for rambling. My speech is being controlled as usual. Anyway, you can find me at speakingtothecia.com. The podcast is mine, Christina Stacia. It does not belong to the person who ripped off my headphones, obviously. Because why would they need to rip off my headphones? Anyway, so, or you can find me at ChristinaStation918.com. Okay, so I want to continue on. I want to talk about, this is all in the same topic. So, I want to point out real quick, I'm going to talk about destiny swapping, but I also want to point out the Greyhound swap meet. Gene Roberts also did that too, what I'm about to tell you, in pre-planning to arrange herself in a relationship with my dad, stalking my dad also. So she used swamp meat. Okay, so destiny swapping. So this is what it says when you Google it, okay? Destiny swapping isn't a formal scientific or philosophical term. It's more of a concept used in storytelling, spirituality, or casual conversation. It generally means two people exchanging their life paths or fates or outcomes. Depending on context, it can mean a few different things. In fiction or fantasy, characters literally switch destinies, like taking on each other's roles, futures, or even identities. For example, a hero and a villain might end up living each other's lives. In a spiritual or mystical belief, some people use it to describe the idea that fate isn't fixed and could be altered or exchanged through supernatural forces, karma, or divine intervention. Metaphorically, in real life, you gotta love people that think they're divine intervention, which are Satanists. Anyway, metaphorically in real life, it can describe situations where two people's lives circumstances change dramatically in opposite ways, almost as if they traded places. An example, one rises in success while another falls. It's not a recognized concept in science or psychology, more of a creative or symbolic way of thinking about fate and life's past. If you saw the term somewhere like a movie, that's going on and saying, do you want to know more about the topic? Okay, so then I put in destiny swapping and identity theft. Okay, so this is what they say, and this is exactly what is happening to me. Gene Roberts keeps claiming she's me. She keeps claiming she has some right to me based on lies she's spreading about me, and is literally trying to steal my entire life, okay? And claims she has a right to. I mean, this is what a narcissistic, sociopath, psychopath she is. But again, everybody already knows that. So, anyway, so destiny swapping and identity theft are different ideas, though some people connect them symbolically. Identity theft is a real-world crime where someone uses another person's personal information, such as social security number, bank details, passwords, or name, to impersonate them for fraud or financial gain. It can involve stolen credit, fake accounts, tax fraud, medical fraud, or account takeovers. If you think this is happening, it's important to secure accounts and document evidence. So, destiny swapping, by contrast, is not a recognized legal, medical, or scientific concept. People may use the phrase in spiritual, symbolic, or online discussions to mean feeling like someone else is taking credit for your opportunities or life path, a belief that another person is interfering with your future or role, a metaphor for manipulation, coercion, or major life disruption, which is what I'm experiencing. Gene pre-planned to do this to me before I was born. That's why and she pretends that she's CIA and Secret Service and FBI and all that. She pretends that she's people that she's not, and she's got some, and it's Charles Manson. It's Charles Manson doing it, pretending that she's got some right. After I find out what she's done, I turn her in, and then she acts like she is a member of intelligence and she has a right to steal my life. She did the same thing to Sharon Tate. She killed her, and she runs around using Sharon Tate's identity. Now, my last name, Stacia Sharon Tate. She thinks she's going to do the same thing to me. And when I figured this out, all by decoding that she's the leader of Charles Manson and she's the one that's been committing these crimes, and her little plan to try to steal my identity to cover her ass so she can continue doing the same thing she's always been doing and wreak havoc on the planet using my name and my life, lies about it, and then uses my telling on her to cover her ass and posing herself as some kind of worshipped hero somewhere, is a no-go. No. I'll take your little diabolical plot and scheme for me and turn your ass in over and over again until you're arrested, Gene Roberts. You're not going to do that. So, anyway, sometimes when people talk about destiny swapping alongside identity theft, they mean literal identity theft, somebody impersonating them or using their information, plus a feeling that the theft affected their life direction, reputation, work, relationships, or opportunities. So, here's something else that Gene Roberts did. I was on my way to a baby shower. Actually, I was on my way home from it wasn't a baby shower, it was my grandson's baby shower. I was on my way home from my grandson's baby shower. Ben was with me. I was still married to Ben at the time. Ben and Austin. And Austin had his DS, his Nintendo DS. Anyway, we stayed in a hotel on our way back because Ben was getting really sick and he got violently ill. I mean, he was puking. It was really bad. So I just let him puke it out. He was freaking out. He was so sick. And so I packed everything up and I'm okay, trying to make life as easy for him as possible. Let me just get your sick butt in the car and get you home. So anyway, I packed everything up and we went home, and I tried to clean up all his mess, everything. I tried to do everything. I have experience with this in a previous relationship that I was in before I married my second husband, even though this wasn't the same kind of situation. It was and it wasn't. Something he got food poisoning is what happened. So anyway, I'm let me just clean all this up and get you in the car. So we got home, and then he realized his son was my DS is gone. And Ben got mad at me. He thought I did something with his son's DS, his dual screen Nintendo. And so I was no, I packed everything up. And I'm going through in my brain, making sure, did I leave it behind in the hotel room? I remember putting it in a pillowcase so it wouldn't get lost. And we took a pillow home with us. Unless I put it in the bag, that's all I can remember. And I'm I remember packing it up. How could it go freaking missing? Well, you probably did take it home, and then somebody probably broke into your guys' house and probably stole his DS in Texas. So then it would cause you guys to fight. And Ben, somebody's talking through me right now, to me, Christina, about what Gene Roberts people were up to. So anyway, it went into a huge freaking fight. And like Ben was like, you're completely unforgiving and I will kill you to the gates of hell because my son's DS is missing. And I understood because it was precious to him. I mean, he got it for Christmas. It was precious to him. The DS was like awesome treasure. Austin loved it. That was a treasured gift of his. And so anyway, so Ben was really mad. I was like, what can I do? I packed it up and brought it home. Okay, Ben is mad at me. I understand he's mad at me. I'm just going to have to like take the brunt of his anger because what else can I do? I mean, it's not like I don't understand where he's coming from. It makes me feel horrible because that's his son's DS. So anyway, so clearly, obviously, what happened is somebody broke in and stole it to wreak havoc in our home and cause fighting and chaos and disruption in relationships and everything else. Okay, so anyway, somebody stole my DS. So DS is the same initials as Destiny Swapping. And then me reliving an experience, but not really reliving an experience of my previous relationship that I was in. Only the situation was different because it was my third husband and he had food poisoning. So it's people attacking me, pretending to love and care for my family and attacking me and attacking Ben and attacking my family, but they're just protecting and loving on everybody. It's Gene Roberts and her Ku Klux Klan occult. It's Gene Roberts and Charles Manson screwing with all of us. Like the whole thing was horrible. The preciousness of that day was my grandson's baby shower. And the preciousness of that day, and believe me, when I tell you, like all of our family, even though I'm not married into these families anymore, like all of my family cares about, all of my family cares about each other. Jean Roberts, on the other hand, pretends that she's related to me. She pretends that she is me, and she runs around acting like she owns all of us. And she'll just take care of everything. Just let her just stalk and ice the shit and lie and cause problems and rip people apart because that's just the way that it is. She's white. She's fabulous. She's Barry Stacey's girlfriend. Everybody loves them some blue and yellow stolen valor. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. And she lies to people and puts people up to committing crime for her, to lie for her to cover a butt. And I was even told yesterday, they said, we know we're lying for Jean. We know we're spreading lies for Jean, but she paid us to lie. And I know that because, I mean, they've told me that Jean pays people to lie for her. And they're like, are you guys going to quit? And they're like, no, she pays us to lie. We're going to continue to lie. Like, the president of the United States literally has to stop this. So anyway, that's what Jean was doing there. She was being slick about stealing Austin's DS. So she also used, get this, remember when I decoded her stalking, I decoded this on paper. I decoded her stalking Ben, okay? I've decoded her stalking my entire family, but I decoded her stalking Ben, and this was at the time frame of Ben dating his girlfriend after me, whose name was Mary. And I'm decoding all these ciphers. She's stalking the ever-living hell out of them, okay? And anyway, she correlates it and ties it to Paul Walker. Okay, and Paul Walker used to be on, he played in, you guys know who Paul Walker is, he played in the Fast and the Furious, and he died in a car accident on the PCH in California. Okay, and I decoded Paul Walker's death. She took Paul Walker's life. She caused him to have a car accident by icing him. She took his life. And what she's doing is she's combining Paul Walker's life with Ben's life, okay? So I'm decoding like all of this out. She also combines using Duran Duran with Ben's life also, okay? So anyway, inside the DS, her DS stunt, okay, she's also using Diesel Jeans. Remember Diesel Jeans? Okay, so then that would go to Vin Diesel. Probably because she was going to go try to work Ben over to his face and tell him he's got some super special fate. And never mind that Gene Roberts has been trafficking him and his family all their lives and feed him full of goodies that he falls for, which anybody falls for Gene's crap. When you're in a life of hell and somebody is offering you anything you freaking want, you're gonna go for it. So, I mean, it's just them trying to, like, work him over, which he did fall for a lot of the stunts her people tried to pull in the beginning, but he was wise to it, but not fully wise to it, but now he's, like, fully wise to everything. Now his involvement in this, I don't know. Hopefully his involvement is making reports against Gene Roberts also, and not letting her blame anything on anybody else, and fully turning her in. But I don't speak for him. He's got his own family. His own family can speak for themselves. All I can do is let them know that Gene Roberts, my dad's girlfriend, has been stalking us all for longer than my age, longer than 54 years old. She's been stalking us that long. So anyway, another thing she did was stalking. Remember I told you I grew up on Shannon Street in Chandler. My two little friends that used to live next door to my grandma, their names were Shauna and Kimmy. I always avoid mentioning them because I don't want Gene Roberts stalking even more people. But it just shows her stalking Shauna and Kimmy. They were my two little childhood friends. Whoever just said that sentence just now, after I just said they were my two childhood friends, that somebody, I'm going to continue talking. I know people are trying to steal what I'm saying because they're trying to lie to people around them or whatever the heck they're up to. But anyway, let me just continue talking because, okay. So anyway, Shauna and Kimmy went to Awanas. Okay. And so I want to point that out to AW. So AIW. And then there's also a Kiwanis Club now. They just put up a Kiwanis ad on TV. And I was like, what the freaking heck? And it's something to do with like Kiwanis Club for kids or something. And I'm like, I thought Kiwanis is like an Elks Club or something like that. Like, what is Kiwanis? And so anyway, then I was like telling my roommate, I'm like, I went to that, but I was thinking of Awana. I wasn't thinking of Kiwana. And so I'm like, I went to that when I was young. I went to Awanas with my friends. I'm like, oh, but that's Kiwana. And then I note they put a K in front of the Awana, so it's Kiwana. So Jean's being secretive. However, she's manipulating Kiwanas or Awanas. She thinks she's being cute. But anyway, what she's doing there is she's making a reference to Kachinas. Okay, Kachina dolls. So she's also making a reference to Kash Patel, okay, who is the leader of the FBI. And she's trying to say that Native Americans, referring to them as Kachina dolls, are the ones that have been stalking me my whole life, and it hasn't been her. She's white. She's fabulous. She's a Navy captain. She's a Stolen Valor Navy captain. She didn't do any of this. She's a victim. They've been stalking her too. Just let her die in all her glory. Nobody did any of this. She stalks Native Americans too. She commits crime and then blames it on all different groups of people, trying to, because she's a leader, Charles Manson, because she's trying to incite and anger people. And some people fall for it, and then some people are like, no, you're trying to work me over. No. So anyway, that's the end of this recording.